Have you ever been there? Lying in the dark after what you thought was a successful encounter, only to feel a subtle, unreadable distance from the woman beside you. She might be staring at the ceiling, her mind a million miles away, leaving you to wonder if this is all there is. You might think you know what she wants, but the truth is, most men are playing a completely different game than the one she's invested in. What you're often witnessing isn't pure, authentic desire. It's a masterful performance, one she's learned to perfect to protect your ego while her own deepest needs remain unspoken. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on those carefully guarded secrets. These aren't just tips or techniques. They are fundamental shifts in understanding that can elevate you into a category of man most women only dream of. Because what a woman truly wants in intimacy isn't just physical. It's spiritual, emotional, and profoundly human. The great misunderstanding. Spontaneous versus responsive desire. Let's start with a foundational truth that causes so much confusion. The male and female libido do not operate in the same way. It's not a matter of one being stronger or weaker, but of them having different triggers and rhythms. This isn't just pop psychology. There's a biological basis for it. Desire in both men and women is largely fueled by testosterone, and men produce 10 to 20 times more of it. This hormonal reality often makes the male sex drive more urgent, goal-directed, and less distractible. A man can see a visual cue and be ready to go. His desire is often spontaneous. A woman's body, producing far less testosterone, responds differently. Her spontaneous sex drive is more diffuse, more easily affected by the events of her day and the overall climate of her life. This is where the brilliant physician Rosemary Basson's model of female sexual desire becomes so enlightening. She explains that in the early honeymoon phase of a relationship, romantic love and infatuation create a powerful, spontaneous sexual response in women. But over time, as life's distractions, fatigue, and routines settle in, that response changes. For many women in long-term relationships, desire isn't a switch that flips on. It's a slow-blooming flower. It is often responsive, not spontaneous. She might begin a potential encounter in a state of sexual neutrality, not horny, but not opposed either. Her motivation to engage might not be a raw physical urge, but a desire for the other benefits that intimacy brings: emotional closeness, bonding, love, and affection. It's from this place of receptivity that her desire awakens. She chooses to seek sensual contact, and as she begins to experience arousal through gentle, relaxed touch, her own physical desire builds. This is a concept many men struggle to grasp, as they often believe their partner's appetite for sex should be as immediate and forceful as their own, a myth perpetuated by everything from pornography to glossy magazines. The unspoken prerequisite, a foundation of emotional safety, before a single piece of clothing comes off. Before the first intentional kiss, there is a silent question in her mind. Am I safe here? And I don't mean physically safe from harm. I mean emotionally safe. Imagine her heart is like a delicate flower. You can't force a flower to bloom by prying its petals open. It blooms when the sun is gentle, the soil is soft, and the rain is tender. This is precisely how a woman's body responds to intimacy. Before she can surrender physically, she must feel safe emotionally. Too many men mistake urgency for passion and rush the process. But when a woman feels pressured, judged, or like an objective to be conquered, her body instinctively closes. Her spirit hides. Emotional safety means she knows you won't mock her body or her responses. It means you won't judge her vulnerabilities or rush her past her comfort zone. It's the profound knowledge that when she reveals the most fragile parts of herself, you will protect them, not exploit them. A woman can be a CEO, a powerhouse, an unshakable force in the world, but in the sanctuary of intimacy, she wants to be able to lay down her armor. She wants to rest in your presence, knowing you will not break her. When she feels this profound safety, her entire being transforms. She breathes deeper. She opens. She begins to surrender, not as a concession, but as a gift. Without this foundation, intimacy feels like a performance. With it, it feels like coming home. The art of being. There, a man fully present. Have you ever had a conversation with someone who was nodding and saying, "uh-huh," at all the right times, but you could see in their eyes that they were a million miles away, thinking about a work email or what's for dinner? That's how many women feel during sex. A man's hands might be on her body, but his mind is elsewhere. Am I doing this right? What comes next? How am I performing? But presence is everything. A woman can feel the energetic difference between a man who is half there and a man who is fully, electrifyingly alive in the moment with her. This isn't about saying the right things. It's about listening with your entire body. It's about feeling her breath and matching its rhythm. It's about noticing the smallest flicker of an eyelash or the subtle shift in her hips and responding to it. When you are truly present, you are not just having sex with her. You are exploring a universe. When a man is truly present, she feels seen. She feels worshipped. She feels as though, for that slice of time, nothing else in the world exists but the sacred space between the two of you. This is not mechanical. It is spiritual. It is the act of sinking into the eternal now together. And when a woman feels that kind of presence, that deep, unwavering attention, she cannot resist it. Because presence is the purest form of passion, and that is what ignites her soul. The 23.5-hour foreplay, one of the most profound truths about female desire, is what psychologist Rosie King calls 23.5-hour foreplay. This means that everything that happens in the hours outside the bedroom directly impacts her capacity for desire and arousal inside the bedroom. You cannot ignore her, dismiss her feelings, or leave her to manage the entire household load all day and then expect her to transform into an enthusiastic lover at the flip of a switch. Her desire isn't confined to the 30 minutes of physical intimacy. It's woven into the fabric of the entire day. The casual touches, the appreciative glances, the supportive conversations. These are the real foreplay. A text in the middle of the day saying you're thinking of her, a hand on the small of her back as she cooks dinner, taking over the household chores without being asked so she can have a moment to herself. These are the gestures that prime her emotional and physical systems for intimacy. They create a continuous thread of connection and desire. When you invest in this all-day romance, you are building an emotional foundation. You're communicating that you cherish her as a person, not just as a means to an end. This emotional closeness is a powerful aphrodisiac. When a woman feels loved, respected, and connected throughout the day, physical intimacy becomes the natural, beautiful culmination of that connection, rather than an isolated, transactional event. The buildup of resentment from feeling unsupported or unseen is the single biggest killer of her sex drive. Conversely, the buildup of affection and connection is its most powerful fuel. The language of intimacy, spoken and unspoken. Intimacy is a language spoken not just with bodies, but with eyes, breath, and words. A woman deeply craves a partner who is fluent in all its dialects. First, there's the unspoken communication. This is the art of listening with more than just your ears. It's about attunement. When you're truly connected, you can feel when her silence means surrender and when it means hesitation. You can sense when her breathing quickens with joy and when it quickens with anxiety. This requires you to shift the focus from your own ego and performance to her reality. The best lovers are not the most technically skilled, but the most attentive. When a woman feels this unspoken understanding, she feels that you see not just her body, but her very essence. Then, there is the crucial, and often missing, spoken communication. Her arousal lives in her ears as much as it does in her body. Silence can be interpreted as disengagement or boredom. She is starving for the soundtrack that transforms physical touch into an emotional connection. She doesn't just want to be touched. She wants to be narrated. She craves the play-by-play commentary that makes her feel like the star of your fantasy. This doesn't mean you need to deliver rehearsed pornographic lines. It means authentic, in-the-moment appreciation. Instead of a generic, "You're so beautiful," try something specific. "I love the way your breathing changes when I touch you right here." Or, "The expression on your face right now is driving me crazy." This is evidence that you are present, that you are paying attention, and that she, in her unique and specific glory, is affecting you profoundly. Sustained, sexual eye contact is a powerful part of this. Locking eyes during intimacy, especially during orgasm, creates a level of psychological intensity that can be both terrifying and incredibly bonding. It's a window into authentic pleasure versus performed pleasure, and it proves you're not lost in your own sensations, but are fully present with her. The physical dance, a symphony. Not a sprint when it comes to the physical act. Many men approach it like a race to the finish line, missing the profound beauty of the journey. A woman's body is like a fire. It doesn't start with an explosion. It begins with a spark, then a flame, and slowly, with patience and care, it grows into a blaze. She wants the slow dance, not a race. This means a steady, patient buildup. Foreplay isn't a 5-minute preliminary event. It's an integral part of the main act. She wants to feel you appreciate every part of her body, not just the parts directly associated with sex. Run your hands over her back, her legs, the inside of her wrists, the nape of her neck. These areas can become powerful erogenous zones when treated with reverence. This slow exploration tells her that you are savoring her, not just consuming her. It gives her body and mind the time needed to fully arrive and surrender to the experience. Within this dance, she craves a balance of gentleness and power. Too much gentleness can feel passive or boring. Too much dominance can feel unsafe and aggressive. The man who is unforgettable is the one who can master both. He can cradle her with tenderness one moment, and then claim her with a passionate, confident power the next. This means he can be a little rough, not in an abusive way, but in a way that shows he is overwhelmed by his desire for her. This could be grabbing her hair lightly, thrusting harder, or confidently moving her body into a new position. It's about being manhandled in a way that feels like worship, not violence. It's about feeling your strength, but knowing it's tempered with love and absolute respect for her boundaries. When a man can be both the safe harbor and the thrilling storm, he awakens both the gentle and the wild sides of her soul. Exploring the landscape, variety, kinks, and her pleasure routine is the silent assassin of arousal. The same bedroom, the same sequence of moves, the same positions, night after night, can slowly suffocate authentic desire, even while maintaining the appearance of a regular sex life. A woman doesn't just tolerate novelty. She requires it for her sexuality to remain engaged. This can start with simple things. Change it up. Light some candles, put on some music, or throw a blanket on the living room floor. Initiating intimacy in an unexpected location, the kitchen counter, the shower, sends a powerful psychological message. It says, my desire for you is so strong it can't be contained by routine or schedule. I want you now. This makes her feel irresistibly attractive, not just conveniently available. It also means being willing to experiment with kinks and fantasies. Many women have a rich fantasy life they are too shy to share. They might have fantasies about being tied up with a soft scarf, or being blindfolded to heighten their other senses. The key is for you to be the one to open this door. By asking her in an open, non-judgmental way if there's anything she's ever wanted to try, you give her permission to explore these desires. You become a safe collaborator in her exploration. Even if she says no, the fact that you are interested enough to ask is a massive turn-on, and above all, make her pleasure a priority. Many women are more likely to orgasm from oral sex than from penetration, yet they are often shy about asking for it, fearing their partner might dislike it or be turned off. Take the lead. Go downtown with enthusiasm. Pay attention to her reactions. Her body will give you all the clues you need about what she likes and dislikes. If you truly observe her, you will learn the keys to giving her incredible pleasure. It doesn't mean she has to orgasm every single time. The pressure to climax can actually be a turnoff for some women. But it does mean that her overall experience and pleasure should be just as much of a priority as your own. Just because you've finished doesn't mean the act of lovemaking is done. The sacred afterglow, connection beyond climax, the moments immediately following sex are some of the most emotionally revealing and important. For many men, the instinct after orgasm is to roll over and fall asleep. For a woman, this can feel like abandonment. Her body and soul have just been in a state of extreme openness and vulnerability. Her emotional receptivity is at its peak. Immediate withdrawal feels like a door slamming shut precisely when she's most open to bonding. This isn't about neediness. It's biological. Her nervous system needs time to transition and process the connection that was just shared. This is where kissing and cuddling after sex becomes so crucial. Continued physical affection that is soothing rather than overtly sexual, gentle touching, holding her, soft kisses, proves that your interest in her extends beyond your own physical release. She also craves conversation that acknowledges the shared experience. It doesn't have to be a deep analysis, but a simple recognition that something meaningful just happened. That was amazing, or I feel so close to you right now, can bridge the physical act to a lasting emotional bond. This post-intimacy attention reinforces the feeling of being cherished, not just used. It cements the entire encounter in her memory as a positive, connecting experience, making her eager to return for more, not just tolerate the next time. Conclusion, to be seen, not just satisfied. What is the ultimate unspoken desire women have during intimacy? It is not a secret position, a magic technique, or a perfect penis size. It is something far more profound. In the end, what every woman wants in bed is not simply physical pleasure. It is recognition. She wants to be seen. She wants to feel that you desire her not just for her body, but for the entirety of her being, her laughter, her kindness, her strength, her fears, her flaws, and her fire. She wants to know that when you hold her, you are holding all of her. The greatest human desire is not for physical release, but for soulful union. It's the sacred moment when two people strip away not only their clothes, but their masks and their walls. If you can give her this, your presence, your safety, your patience, and your authentic desire to see and cherish all of her, she will bloom in ways no technique could ever unlock. You will not just know what women want in bed. You will be giving her the one thing she craves above all else, the transformative experience of being loved completely.